Welcome to HouseLux Estate, your premier destination for financial education and real estate wisdom. We're here not just to guide you on the path to financial freedom, but to equip you with the knowledge needed to make informed decisions. Today's topic? A seemingly simple yet profoundly impactful concept: how framing affects and influences financial decision-making. You might be wondering, what's framing got to do with my financial choices? Well, a lot, actually. It's a psychological tool that can dramatically sway our decisions and reactions, even in the financial world. By understanding how framing works, you're stepping into a realm where you can evaluate your financial decisions more critically and accurately. This isn't just about making more money, it's about gaining control over your financial destiny. So, as we delve into the intricacies of framing, let's remember, knowledge is power. Stay tuned as we unravel how framing influences your financial decisions. First things first, let's understand what framing is in the context of decision-making. So, framing is a cognitive bias, a mental shortcut, if you will, that influences our decisions and judgments. It's all about how something is presented, or, in other words, framed. The way information is framed can drastically alter our perception, and consequently, our decisions. Think about it like this. Imagine you're at a restaurant deciding between two dishes. One is labeled as 75% lean meat, while the other is labeled as 25% fat. Even though both labels essentially convey the same information, you're more likely to choose the dish labeled as 75% lean simply because of the positive framing. That's framing at work in a nutshell. Now let's bring it into a financial context. Suppose you're considering two investment options. One is framed with a potential 70% chance of making a profit, while the other is framed with a potential 30% chance of loss. Even though these scenarios are statistically identical, most of us would naturally gravitate towards the first option because of the positive framing. But framing isn't just about positivity or negativity. It's also about the context and the reference points that are used. For instance, if a product is advertised as being on sale from $200 down to $100, it seems like a better deal than if it was simply priced at $100. That's because the reference point, the original price of $200, creates a frame that makes the sale price seem more attractive. Remember, framing is incredibly powerful because it taps into our subconscious. It can shape not only our decisions, but also our overall perception of value. It's an integral part of marketing strategies, political campaigns, and yes, financial decision-making too. Now that we understand what framing is, let's see how it affects our financial decisions. Framing can make a world of difference in how we perceive and make financial decisions. Let's explore this idea further. Framing, in financial terms, refers to the way information is presented, which can significantly impact our decision-making process. Consider this scenario. A financial advisor presents two different investment options to you. The first one is framed as a sure gain, a bond that will definitely yield a 5% return over 5 years. The second option is a stock, framed as a potential loss. There's a 50% chance you could lose half of your investment, but also a 50% chance you could double it. Even though the second option has the potential for a higher return, many people would choose the first option because it's framed as a sure gain. The potential loss associated with the second option often scares people away, even when the potential gain is considerably higher. That's the power of framing. Now let's flip the script. What if the financial advisor framed the bond as a potential loss, indicating that you might not keep up with inflation and could effectively lose purchasing power over 5 years? And what if the stock was framed as a sure gain, with the possibility of doubling your money in 5 years? Suddenly, the stock seems more appealing, right? That's because the framing has shifted our perception of these investment options. This example clearly illustrates how framing can sway our financial decisions, often leading us to make choices that aren't necessarily in our best interest. Another common example of framing in finance is the way we view spending and saving. If we frame saving money as a loss, giving up immediate gratification for future benefits, it can feel like a sacrifice. But if we frame it as a gain, building wealth for the future, it becomes a much more appealing prospect. As we can see, framing can significantly influence our financial choices. But how can we use this to our advantage? Harnessing the power of framing can help us make better financial decisions. Let's delve into how we can strategically use framing to our advantage when making financial decisions. It's not about manipulating facts. but rather about understanding the context and presenting information in a way that fits our financial goals. First off, consider the power of positive framing. When evaluating an investment opportunity, for instance, instead of focusing on potential losses, frame it in terms of potential gains. This doesn't mean ignoring the risks, but rather highlighting the upside. The psychological impact of positive framing can lead to a more optimistic and open-minded approach to financial decisions. Next, consider the time frame. Financial decisions often involve a trade-off between present gratification and future benefits. By framing decisions in the long term, you can make choices that may be painful in the short run, but will lead to greater financial security in the future. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is financial success. Third, use comparative framing. When faced with multiple choices, don't just evaluate each option independently. Instead, frame each option in relation to the others. This comparative perspective can help you see the bigger picture and make a more informed decision. Lastly, don't forget to frame your financial goals and progress. Instead of framing your journey in terms of what you haven't achieved yet, frame it in terms of what you've already accomplished. This shift in perspective can boost your motivation and determination to stay on track. Remember, framing is a tool, and like any tool, it's most effective when used wisely. It's not a magic wand that will make financial problems disappear, but it can help you navigate financial decisions with more clarity and confidence. By understanding and using framing to our advantage, we can make more informed and beneficial financial decisions. Let's quickly recap what we've learned today. Framing refers to how we present or perceive information, and it can greatly influence our financial decision-making. For instance, a loss framed as a gain can motivate us to make different choices, often leading to more positive financial outcomes. Moreover, we've seen that framing isn't just a psychological trick. It's a practical tool we can incorporate into our financial strategies. By consciously framing our financial situations in a way that emphasizes potential gains rather than losses, we can encourage smarter financial decisions and foster a more optimistic outlook on our financial futures. In conclusion, understanding and utilizing framing can be a game changer. It empowers us to take charge of our financial narratives and make decisions that align with our goals. Thank you for joining us today on HouseLux Estate. Remember to subscribe for more insightful content. Until next time, make your financial decisions wisely.